We're broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios.
Visit MTE.com.
Middle Tennessee Electric, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the WGNS Action Line. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers
since 1947.
This is the WGNS Action Line. Now, your host, Scott Walker.
Right now, that time, 8:21. You're tuned to WGNS on this Wednesday morning. And with us in studio, Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm fine, Scott. How are you?
I'm good.
I like the swap and shop stuff. I think I honestly, I was when I was listening to the swap and shop. By the way, we start later and later. Is that because of the results of May 5th, Scott? Is that what? Is this the exit strategy for the current mayor? We typically start at 8:10 or 8:15. Now we're at 8:21, and you could tell when my term in office has expired.
We're cutting your airtime back slowly. We don't want to come, at you at like a shock, So
I love this.
Actually, that was my fault. I was a little slow this morning. I'm getting some stuff started, and
if the listeners knew what I knew behind the mic, he's running around here getting some. He's trying carbo load. He's over here doing stretching exercises.
That's right.
He's limbering up. Obviously, being a radio show host is extremely taxing physically because he's over here doing calisthenics and carbo loading. And Scott's in terrific shape, ladies and gentlemen, for the show and for the rest of the day.
It takes a lot.
Somebody's got to do it, right?
Somebody has to do it.
Don't let the old man in, Scott.
That's right.
Like we talked about off air. Don't let the old man in.
I need more pull-ups and sit-ups. And
don't we all?
Yep. I'll be even better.
Amen to that.
So Joe Carr with us today, and what's happening now?
Well, we had an election, and we got a new mayor coming in, so there's a lot going on with that. We're going to help Mayor-elect Randy Allen hopefully transition, which is something I didn't get when I came into office, but that's okay. We do things differently since I've been in office, and hopefully that's a good thing.
Now, is anybody running against him in that?
No, he's unopposed. But, to Randy's credit, he's out there enjoying the win, and he's still kind of campaigning a bit. He's still saying, I know I don't have any opposition, but we still have an August election, and technically that's true. But at the same time, Rutherford County is the fourth largest county in the state. Our payroll is 10,000 plus. We have a $1 billion budget, and there is a lot for Mr. Allen to absorb, especially given the campaign promises he's made. So he's going to have to bring his campaign promises. He's going to have to bring a reality of budgets and governing together, and hopefully he can continue to move the county forward, and I'm sure he will.
So after that August date, when does that actual transfer of office happen?
He is sworn in just prior to September 1, and I think on August 31st, if I'm not mistaken. It seemed like I was sworn in on September 1, but regardless, he becomes the mayor of Rutherford County on September 1.
And what does that usually look like? I mean, what are your plans?
That is easy to describe. It's drinking from a 4-inch fire hose. And it's not...
Turned on all the way.
Oh, yeah. It's not whether or not you get to drink from a 4-inch fire hose. He's going to drink from a 4-inch fire hose. So the question is, have you drank from a 4-inch fire hose before, and do you know how to drink from a 4-inch fire hose? Because you're going to drink from the 4-inch fire hose.
I mean, it's just laid on your desk right there.
And it is overwhelming.
Really?
If you've never been a CEO of a large organization before, it can absolutely be so overwhelming, Scott. It can paralyze you into indecisiveness. And so, Randy's got a lot of people currently in government who are going to help him, who are going to come alongside him, who have his and most importantly, the county's interests at heart to keep things moving in the right direction. And I'm very proud to say, in the 4 years that I was mayor, our record of achievement and accomplishment literally is unmatched by any other 4-year term previous. And so while we're perplexed as to why the voters wanted to make a change, they decided to make a change by an overwhelming majority. what's interesting is not just this election, but the election of 4 years ago, that primary election was evenly divided into thirds, just like this primary election. And we know in Rutherford County, the Republican primary typically determines our countywide offices. And so 4 years ago, I won with 38% of the vote. This year, Randy Allen won with 36%. I had 34%, and Commissioner Harris had 30%. So it's literally a third, and a third. So Randy doesn't come into the office with any sort of mandate. As a matter of fact, he comes in with 2/3 of the voters saying, we wanted another candidate, but this is our mayor-elect, so let's rally around him, let's support him, let's try to help him fulfill his promises of no taxes, fully funding first responders, fully staffing first responders. He's going to close down the landfill. Let's help him with these promises, but at the same time, make sure that we have that conservative posture as it relates to spending.
Now, on that first day that he is in office, everything that, of course, is existing right now, any issues, any conversations with heads of departments about changes, pay grades, and I mean, you name it, it's all right there on his table all of a sudden.
It is, and those are the choices he gets to make. I just hope that he steps back, and I think he will. Randy's not impulsive. He's not impetuous, which is really, really good. He's going to look, observe, and watch and get an understanding of how to approach things. I think for the first few months, Randy's just going to watch and listen to his directors, listen to those county commissioners who've been up there a while, who know how to steer this ship, and I think he is going to do well if he listens to their advice while he kind of learns what his role is.
And in that position as county mayor, have you got somebody who sets up meetings for you? Have you got somebody
yes.
who, all of that?
Oh, yeah. Scott, when I say that Rutherford County is a very large corporation with a lot of different things going on at the same time, I cannot overstate that enough. Rachel Lehue in my office, she's my executive assistant, and she handles my schedule. And I trust that Randy will allow her to do the same for him as she did for Mayor Ketron. Carla Hill is in my office. She's also an executive assistant, and she handles all the purchasing and requisitions that only the mayor can sign. Nobody else can sign those. And so it's those day-to-day activities that make for very long days and require you, quite honestly, to fulfill those constitutional obligations. Those are your first priority, is to make sure that the county's obligations by statute are fulfilled through your office.
And holding a seat like that, I mean, you have to be a jack of all trades, because you're going to have to know a little bit about pretty much everything in order to make sense out of everything going on.
And that is a big part of the fire hose, because you don't know what you think you know. Example, and I understand this is campaign rhetoric, but some of the promises that were made on the campaign trail are just not practical.
Yeah.
And now how do you merge the reality of what the facts are with your perception is going to be an interesting for him or any other mayor to kind of pull that together. Close the landfill, fully fund firefighters, law enforcement, fully staffed firefighters, law enforcement, no property tax increase, find waste, fraud, and abuse. I would challenge Mr. Allen. When he finds the waste, fraud, and abuse, I hope he picks up the phone and calls me, because I'd really like to know what it is. Because we scrutinize that on a regular basis. And so I'm excited for what Randy's going to do for the county. I just think based on what he's promised and the reality of it, it's going to be a challenge to merge those two things.
Working as a county mayor, do you have some similarities when you're like in a state office? Do you have lobbyists knocking on your door asking for this, asking for that, or saying, hey, we represent, this sector and they need some help? Not
lobbyists, citizens. The citizens do that all the time. They constantly are asking you to do things that, quite honestly, it's you don't have the authority to do.
Yeah.
Or how many times has on the campaign trail did you hear the candidate say, "Well, I'm going to put a stop to building apartment buildings in the county"? Well, hello, we don't build apartment buildings in the county, and the reason we don't build apartment buildings in the county is because they require sewer services, and the county doesn't provide sewer services. That's a city function. So it's that kind of thing. And there's the misconceptions about how the county government operates on the part of the citizenry, and dealing with just the uninformed nature of the electorate on some issues sometimes can be challenging.
Do sometimes citizens come to you asking for, hey, so-and-so, my brother-in-law, sister, whatever, was arrested for X, Y, Z, and I don't think the judge heard them out. I mean, do you get calls like that?
Yeah, I get a lot of calls from people in jail.
from the actual jail?
Well, not through somebody else.
Okay.
But yeah, we get a lot of calls that they were wrongfully arrested or wrongfully prosecuted or wrongfully detained, and then of course you got the whole 287G thing, and they're just those people are all fired up all the time. Man. And so it's a constant. There's constant turmoil.
Yeah.
And as the mayor, your job is to take that turmoil and make sure that you lower the temperature so good and reasonable decisions on behalf of the county property taxpayers can be made. That's the most important part of this.
You have to learn very quickly how to, I guess, deflect in some situations. You have to learn how to de-escalate in a lot of situations. I mean, there's a lot.
You do. And before you can do that, you have to be able to, under pressure, with a lot of screaming and yelling in your ear. I mean, literally.
From citizens,
from everybody, from county commissioners were screaming and hollering. I mean, I've famously, one county commissioner said 4 years ago in September, "I'm declaring war on this mayor," and so I guess I didn't take him seriously.
Yeah,
but I guess we were at war. I mean, but the fact of the matter is that you have people constantly badgering you, and what you've got to be able to do as mayor is you've got to step down. Your first responsibility is to lower the temperature so you can make a rational, cognitive-based decision. It requires the mayor to have incredible analytical skills. You got to be able to analyze a problem, you got to diagnose that problem, and then you've got to seek reliable input from different perspectives within your administration and outside your administration so you can make the best and quickest decision possible, because timing is important.
So during these situations where people are angry, they're hot-headed over stuff, I mean,
always.
Do you get threats and stuff like that?
Yeah. I've gotten death threats since I was in the state house, Scott. I don't even pay attention to them anymore. It's not the death threats you get that you hear about. It's the one that you get that you didn't hear about.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
I mean, I've had several. I don't say I get them every day or even every week, but it's not uncommon.
Man, that would be a lot to take on all of a sudden, just out of the blue. Hey, I'm going to switch to this, and bam.
Remember. Just like when I came into office, and our goal, one of our goals, which we didn't achieve. I mean, with all the success that I've had as mayor and my team has had as mayor, you think about it. We staffed and built 5 public health and safety buildings, thanks to Mayor Ketcherin's funding through ARPA. We built a forensic center. We built a transfer station, which literally solved our reliability on Middle Point for our solid waste solution. And that's creating $1 million a year in revenue. We've given pay raises every year to our county employees. That's never happened. We have balanced the budget. We have got 3 AAA bond ratings. I mean, I can go recovery court. We can go on and on and on. But in spite of all that, you have people that will constantly disagree with you. And just like when I came into office 4 years ago without a mandate, Mr. Allen doesn't have a mandate. And so one of his goals, which was one of mine, was to get that mandate. How can we get that mandate? So if he decides to seek re-election in 4 years, I hope he does get over 50%, because the voters deserve that majority, not a plurality, but a majority, so there is a mandate. And right now, there is no mandate.
Do you expect to see the opening of that forensic center before you leave office?
Unfortunately not. I won't get to see that, and I won't get to see the BOA building, which we're almost getting ready to purchase and start renovating. So, and the jail project that I started 2 years ago. So there are a number of projects that I will not have the benefit of seeing to completion, which is unfortunate and which is kind of sad, because I would like to be around to finish what I started, but that's not what the voters wanted. So we will respect their wishes.
Now, that future jail, that is something that I know you were saying towards the beginning of this year. We've got basically a 5-year window.
That's right.
To start our new plan of possibly building a brand new jail.
That's what the Tennessee Corrections Institute is telling us.
And where do we stand today?
We are, the progress is kind of in a pause, and I say in a pause because out of respect to the new sheriff and the new mayor, we don't want to just jam this down their throat. So I know that I've reached out to both Mr. Allen and I know Mr. Barrett has an election in August, but I think he's in good shape. But anyway, so we're trying to incorporate them into this process because that's a 4-inch fire hose. That issue right there, and they need to come up to speed as quickly as possible, because a $340 million project without raising property taxes is going to be a heavy lift. And if you've never built a project like that before, it can be intimidating, if not paralyzing. So
now that you're at this point in your service, as a county mayor,
such as it was,
looking back,
a little abbreviated, right? But who would have thunk it?
It was short. Should have made it longer. But now looking back, are there now that you're not going to be able to change this, change that, in the future? Do you look back and do you look at any of the departments right now that we have within Rutherford County and say, this needed to have been changed, or this in the future has got to change the way they operate?
The vast majority of the departments in Rutherford County are run by very, very committed, competent professionals. There are a couple of departments, quite honestly, and it's I won't mention because it's not my place to, that I wish I had made maybe some changes, maybe not in the leadership, but in the way things were done. But that's to be expected, and there's nothing wrong with that, because right now you're reflecting, and as we know, Scott, hindsight is what? 2020.
Always.
And so that's what we're doing. So we're kind of looking in the rearview mirror and say, what would I do differently if I had to do it over again? Maybe some changes in some of the departments, but the biggest change, the biggest failure of the last 4 years on my part was when I decided, when I ran and I took office, that I would not seek as mayor to be chair of the county commission. I think that set in motion this war that was declared on the mayor's office. I think that set that in motion, where it led to, after a year and a half, a censorship, and then a year and a half after that, an ethics complaint, and all that was politically motivated because I was at war with some members of the commission, which is unfortunate. And I think I exacerbated it, or I made that worse when I declared I wasn't going to be chairing the commission. I absolutely think Randy Allen needs to be chair of the commission. He needs to chair it. And the biggest reason is the private acts and the resolutions that we adopted at the county level are all written with the assumption that the mayor is the chair. And so when the mayor is not the chair, those resolutions and those private acts, the things that define the process about how we run government, really starts to fall apart. And that's what happened. And so the relationship between the mayor's office and the county commission was extremely difficult at times and challenging for both sides. And it was made that way because of a extremely poor decision that I made about not being chair of the commission. And I hope Mayor-elect Allen seeks that position. He needs to, for the county's sake.
Again, with us this morning, Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr. And when you look at, you hear people say, depending on what the office is, there needs to be certain there needs to be a certain amount of terms that you can run, rerun for
I'm
office,
so for
etc.
term limits. Scott, we got to have term, in my opinion.
But there's some offices that I look at, county mayor as an example. You almost need at least 2 terms in there to continue, on whatever road you're on to get things done.
That's a brilliant observation, and I'm not just saying that because I've actually thought a lot about this. Your first 2 years, Mr. Allen's first 2 years, he's trying to figure out where the restroom is, and that's a metaphor for figuring out the process. I mean, again, 10,000 employees, $1 billion budget, 24 departments report to him. I mean, he's going to chair the commission, hopefully. There's a lot going on. So he's going to need at least 18, 24 months just to figure it out. Well, once he figures it out after 2 years, then he can go, okay, now I know what my agenda needs to be. And it takes 4 years to get the agenda started and implemented. And then the last 2 years, it's basically spent kind of cleaning up, wrapping things up, putting things together, and handing it off to. So you're exactly right. 8 years would be an absolute minimum, but I think you don't need more than that.
Yeah.
But an absolute minimum to fulfill the agenda.
And when you look at CEOs of major organizations, publicly traded organizations and companies out there, when they hire a new CEO, CFO, they're usually in that office for a minimum of 6 years.
Absolutely.
They're usually, and of course that's not an elected position unless it's elected by that board of that company, but that's not a publicly elected position, whereas of course county mayor is.
Well, exactly. And so that's, again, you're exactly right, because when we started some of these projects, example, we started the jail project 2 years ago. We finally, 2 years ago, I genuinely thought we were going to win re-election, and quite honestly thought we were going to win with the record of achievement and how we've advanced this county in the last 4 years. I genuinely thought we would win with 50% of the vote or more. Genuinely did. I'm not one being arrogant. I just thought with this record of accomplishment, there's no way the voters are going to reject what we've done.
Yeah.
There's no question they did. But you're right. So now we've got the BOA building on East Main. I'm not going to be able to finish. That would have gotten finished. The Forensic Center not going to get finished.
The Bank of America building.
Yeah, Bank of America building. So there are a lot of these things that are unfinished that I planned for serving 2 4-year terms, and the voters had other ideas.
Has anything come up over those years that you've been the county mayor? Has anything come up that has just absolutely surprised you that you had no idea about when taking that office?
Yeah, the vindictive and just the vindictive nature of some people, the pettiness, the inability to separate policy and politics. But it stems from that horribly poor decision I made when I didn't become chair. And it's not that I wanted to be chair. I didn't. I could care less one way or the other. But what it does is it allows the mayor to has that foundation for building relationships with the individual commissioners and the commission, because the mayor is a part of the commission now as the chair. I wasn't a part of the commission, so it was them and me. And so, not being the chair, I was not in the quote unquote the club. And it's a club, and it should be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I opted out of that club, and by doing so, I inadvertently built a wall that kept us from communicating effectively, and quite honestly, exacerbated the declaration of war that was made.
So, if you were a part of that club, so to say, would you then have been kind of the tiebreaker in votes? Would you then have been?
No, rarely, because you don't have a vote, and so unless you are breaking a tie. But the fact of the matter is that you're much more of a part of the conversation. And what I didn't realize is on the commission floor, because of the Sunshine Law, the commissioners really are unable to deliberate and discuss an issue unless they are on the floor of the commission or in committee meeting. Unlike the House, which is my background, I used to, along with my colleagues, collaborate and discuss and bounce an idea back and forth. And the Sunshine Law keeps the county commission from doing that. So what they do is they have all those discussions at committee meeting or on the commission floor. And I didn't understand how important that communication was in building relationships, trust, and camaraderie. And so because I didn't chair the commission, I was removed from that relationship building. And so consequently, I didn't get a chance to build the relationship with the individual commissioners and the commission itself to be as effective in that regard as we could have been. Having said that, we still got more accomplished than any other 4-year term, bar none. And I'm very, very proud of that. So at the end of the day, the net is effective government isn't, Scott, whether you and I like each other. The effective government is, did we deliver cost-effective solutions to the county residents who pay taxes? That's the bottom. That's the net. And there's no question we did that by any measure.
So as of today, you're going to be in office as mayor up until September or so, right around that date, and that's when the new elected mayor will then take over.
Yeah, by the way, the cancellations from my appearances have increased and the invitations have decreased. So apparently there's a lot of time.
Have you really seen a lot of cancellations?
Yeah,
really?
I have seen a little bit. You know, I'm what we call persona non grata. No longer relevant or as relevant.
So people
but it's okay.
had invited you to things.
Oh, yeah, maybe you don't need to worry about coming. It's good. We got this.
That's wild. You know,
it's, you love me today, hate me tomorrow.
But that's got to feel hurtful a little bit. I mean, if I were, and maybe this is why I should never be in politics, but man, my feelings would be hurt. You know, somebody who I thought was maybe my friend, you know, in a way, and then all of a sudden they say, hey, don't come.
It's brutal. And I'll tell you something, a pet peeve of mine, if I ever hear the term servant leadership ever again, I am going to scream. That is the most overused, it means nothing. Servant leadership means nothing. Just be a servant. Don't worry about the leadership part. Just be a servant. Just be a servant. Don't worry about being leadership. Just say, I want to be a servant. And God will take you to wherever that is. Don't worry about the servant leadership lies, though that was some kind of special place for you.
When you look at other counties across the state, there's some counties out there who literally have lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit just piling up, and it may be against one department, 2 departments, 3 departments, I don't know. But here in Rutherford County, how do we look when it comes to that legal standing, and are some departments facing more lawsuits than other departments?
So that's
and why?
something I'm really proud of. The number of lawsuits that the county has had filed against it has dramatically increased. Decreased. Decreased, gone down in the last 4 years. Let me give you one piece of evidence for that. I've not been sued since I've been mayor.
No, were past mayors sued?
Yeah, like regularly.
Really?
Yes.
I guess some we never knew about.
Yeah, because they were also, the previous administration settled for millions of dollars in lawsuits. Wow. I've not been sued, and that's important because what that reflects is that when I came into office, there wasn't a lot of process. And what I mean by process, a specific way of doing things so that you do it that way every time. Everybody understands how you do it. And if you understand the process, all you do is get in line to follow the process. And everybody likes process because it means a managed, predictable outcome. And we instituted process across all departments that didn't exist before. But one of the components of an effective process is to make sure you comply with the law.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough. And so Eric Hennessy, my chief of staff, who's an attorney, an accomplished attorney, is very, very good and effective at doing just that. He's saying, Mayor, if we're going to do this process, we need here are the legal guardrails that determine how we move forward. And so he's been very effective for me in that. And Mr. Allen would be extremely wise. If I were to give him one piece of advice, make sure you have somebody at your right hand who understands the law, understands process, and has a gift for administration.
So if there were lawsuits filed against you, or let's say they're filed against the previous mayor, Do those lawsuits also follow you in your personal life, or are they
No.
literally within the county?
Within the county. As example, we didn't settle several lawsuits against the previous mayor until after he was left office. So he is not personally liable because of his conduct as office of mayor.
What's been the toughest lesson to learn as a county mayor?
Just how personal things can get, how badly people will distort who you are in an effort to gain a political advantage.
And it may not even be a political advantage.
Well, let me give you one example. And the campaign's over, but there was a handful of people who literally concocted a story. My wife and I went to our Italian restaurant in Eagleville, had a wonderful time. By the next day, it had circulated by those who had malicious intent. They just fabricated the story that I was in a state of inebriation, and I got into a conflict with the owner and was asked to leave. And that was an absolutely made up story. And I don't know why they did it, other than that's the nature of politics. And that's just one example. I mean, you remember the whole thing about honey and the whole all that BS, which is, by the way, is a technical term.
Yeah.
It's just the fabrication and the making up of things for your own personal political agenda gets tiring.
And it could be, I guess, somebody that just flat out doesn't like you, just making up stuff.
Yeah, they just make stuff up, and now you got social media and all this kind of picks it up, and it's hard on your family, and it's hard to see your wife and kids struggle with those kind of accusations because they want to fight back, and you go, you can't fight back. You just got to stand here and let them do it, because there's nothing for you to do.
And social media, I mean, that has not helped out anybody in the majority of cases.
I despise it. If you read something on Facebook or on one of these blogs or something like that, it's 99% false. Every bit of it. It's 99% false. Even the people who post on these pages are anonymous. It's fake names and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, see, I don't know how I would deal with that. The fact that you've got somebody out there just randomly making stuff up.
What's hard is so I'm a man who is fatally flawed. I am like the most flawed person you will find. But if you come to me and you have a legitimate concern or request or accusation, I'll hear it. And I will listen to you, and I will give you what I think is the best response that I can. But they don't do that. They're not interested in the truth. They're interested in creating a narrative that fits how they've imagined you to be. And so all they're trying to do is fit that, fulfill that narrative. Anyway, that's the most painful part. And it's been 4 years, and I won't miss it.
And, of course, you've been in politics before, at the state level as well. What is it hard on a marriage? I mean, overall, being in politics in general, regardless of, if you're a county commissioner, a city councilman, if you're a mayor of the county, I mean, are these positions hard on marriages?
I'm not going to spend much time on this, but the answer is it was real hard on Jenny and I there for a while, a couple of years ago. And I'll leave it at that. It was extraordinarily hard. And it wasn't anything other than the stress of the job and me bringing the stress of the job home, and then me not being able to figure out, how to reconcile that stress at the job and maintain harmony at home. For a short while, I wasn't very good at that. And so that's the byproduct of being mayor. People in the community who dislike you will make every effort to ensure that everybody else dislikes you as well, and they will spare no expense or effort to promote that.
Hey, that would be hard to get used to.
You don't get used to it.
I don't.
You just have to steel yourself. The way I dealt with it is, it's interesting we're talking about this. It's kind of personal because you're kind of drumming up some stuff that I thought I had done a good job of kicking and putting in the bucket. But 4 years of long hours. I've never had a vacation since I've been in office. I take a day off every now and then, but rarely. But never had a vacation. That was my choice. I have my wife and family and I have sacrificed personally a lot. And in spite of the effort and the sacrifice and the achievement, what's disappointing is it wasn't enough for the voters. And so I've talked to several people. I don't know what the voters want. I truly do not. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 4 years because Mayor-elect Allen needs to succeed, and the voters need to let him succeed or fail without running his name across the hot coals of slander and libel.
I think in general, in this day and age, it's hard to please much of anybody. I mean, you can please some people, but then
well,
there's going to be...
obviously, I only pleased a third. So apparently, there's a third out there that I'm able to please. The other 2/3 said, no, we're headed in the wrong direction. And that's a fascinating question because when you ask people, why are we headed in the wrong direction, they come up with all these things that the Rutherford County mayor has no responsibility for, none. And yet we're being held accountable for them. So,
so much goes back and ties in to social media today. I mean, everything from people, campaigning their own fictitious story that they put together. I mean, to
the AI,
news,
the AI generated stuff now.
It's wild.
Just that there's one guy out there who does AI generated stuff, and if you see his name attached to an AI video, you can know it's highly distorted and inflammatory. It's just it has little basis in truth or fact.
That's a tough wall to try to knock down because you're going to have people out there who want to believe this fake news just because for whatever reason they decided they don't like, maybe it's your political party, and they will just be against you and side with the fake stuff.
But I think we're all guilty of that, Scott. I think we're all fallen nature is one that unfortunately likes to read the tragedy of the news. I mean, the people say, well, I want to read a good feeling story, but the fact of the matter is you get more clicks on a tragedy than a good feeling story. And so now it's what we call clickbait, right? Clickbait.
Exactly.
Everything's clickbait.
Yeah.
And the social media giants, they reward you for the clicks. So you get more clicks,
it's
more
like,
money. So you throw out more bait.
It's like the wreck you can't turn away from.
That's exactly what it is.
You got to see it.
It is exactly the wreck you can't turn away from. Why we ride rubberneckers, slow down traffic in the other lane of the interstate that doesn't have a wreck.
Yeah.
And they cause a wreck.
They do, every time. Again with us this morning, Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr. And we're already out of time.
Wow.
Let's do this again at least one or two more times.
Maybe. We'll see what the voters say. Thank you,
see
Scott.
what social media says.
It's been great. I love it.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. If you've recently changed your phone number or email, make sure you update your details at MTE.com. It's the best way for MTE to reach you quickly with important outage updates.